afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for coming today. We have a lot of extra guests here, and the reason you're here is because everyone in this room is a part of what we do at McPherson, and we're really grateful for everyone's participation. And as I told people this morning, I kind of like to have a theme for the year, and our theme for this year is storytelling, because I really believe that yes, it's important to report test scores, and yes, it's important to report data to make ourselves accountable. But I believe equally as important is for us to tell the stories of who we are, the stories of the children, the stories of you. And so today, we are going to tell the story of one student and the impact that all of you make on that student. And we are really grateful to have all of these partners that help us with educating our 600 students in McPherson, and we absolutely could not do it without you. And we hope today will illustrate to you and tell the story of how important you are and the story of one student at McPherson. So thank you again for coming.
Eduardo is a kindergartner at McPherson Elementary School. On the first day of school, he and his mother, Araceli, walked to school from their house. They opened the door to Eduardo's classroom for the first time.
I watched the teacher tell the children where to put their things. The teacher talked to me really fast and handed me some papers. The papers were in English and Spanish, but I didn't understand what they were for. This was my first experience in American school, and I wondered how I was ever going to help my child learn.
Araceli and her husband Juan wanted what every parent would want for their son, for all of his dreams to come true. It was the biggest reason they moved here from Mexico just 5 years ago. During Eduardo's first day at kindergarten, Araceli's hopes for her son seemed unreachable. Every day after dropping Eduardo up at school, Araceli took the walk back to her house feeling more frustrated and confused. One day, Araceli received a schedule for the first parent-teacher conference.
I was so scared. Why did I need to go to meeting with this teacher? Was my son in trouble?
Later that week, Eduardo's teacher pulled Araceli aside.
I attempted in my broken Spanish to tell Araceli that our school had a family resource center where she could get help understanding the papers I was giving her. I told her there were many people in the family resource center who would be able to support her and Eduardo, and that they spoke Spanish.
Araceli visited the center later that day, and Liliana, the Family Resource Center case manager, greeted her at the door.
I introduced myself to Araceli. I explained the different programs we have in diversity, case management, volunteering, finding classes. I invite her to attend the Thursday coffee meeting that week. Araceli said she needs help with her Salvador's parent-teacher conference. Before leaving, I introduced her to Camila, the Pine University of Leader.
The first thing I noticed about Araceli was that she seemed very scared and nervous. When she talked, she spoke really quietly and didn't make eye contact. I completely understood how she felt being in a new place, not knowing what to do, and not knowing anyone who could help. I told her not to worry. Everything would be okay, and that we were there to help her. I shared with her my story of being in this country by myself, not knowing English or understanding how the school system worked when my own son entered kindergarten.
I relaxed as Fabiola shared her story with me.
Araceli showed me the papers about the parent-teacher conference and expressed her concern not knowing what to do. She didn't know how to read and she didn't speak English. I told her not to worry and that we had a parent university class coming up on how to attend a parent-teacher conference. I made sure that she promised to be at the class and reassured her that I would be there too.
Before Araceli left, she asked Fabiola if all the schools had a center like the FRC. Fabiola told her that McPherson was very unique because there were a lot of people from the school and the community working together to support the students.
I let Araceli know that we even had a dream for the class 2025.
At first, I didn't understand. 2025? What happens next?
I explained, that is the year Eduardo will graduate from high school, and at that time, we want him and all of his classmates to graduate with everything they need to have any opportunity for their future.
I was so amazed because that is my dream too.
I reminded her that she was not alone, that there were many people here in McPherson and in the community who have the same dream for their children, and that we were all here to support each other.
During the year, Araceli became more and more engaged at McPherson. She started to meet and get to know many people, and many people got to know her and her family.
Every year for 7 years, I've worked as a volunteer with parents, teachers, and children at McPherson to plant and maintain gardens. I noticed that Araceli and Juan started to come around to work on the gardens, first in the community plaza garden, and eventually they got a plot in the family garden.
I attended a town hall meeting, and I got to see Araceli tell her story, and she facilitated other parents telling their stories and how they had goals, aspirations for their children, and expressed their needs of their children.
Araceli noticed others helping out at McPherson as well.
I am a part of SLELA, a youth leadership academy in Napa High School. Every Friday, my class would walk over to McPherson Elementary School to run literacy stations for the kindergartners. Even though it was challenging to work with children, it was the best part of my week.
My younger sister was a 4th grader at McPherson. I joined the Leadership Academy to make sure that she has a chance to do better than I did. I want to help younger children and make a real difference in the place that I live.
On the last day of school, Araceli is in her son's classroom volunteering for her 9th time this year. The teacher pulls Araceli aside to thank her for her volunteer efforts and to discuss Eduardo's progress.
Thank you for supporting your classroom and your son's education. When we work together, we can accomplish a lot. Because of your efforts, Eduardo is doing great and is ready for 1st grade.
Araceli thought back to Eduardo's first day in kindergarten and reflected on their journey over the last year.
After hearing the good news from my child's teacher that he is ready for 1st grade, I am so proud of his progress and all of his efforts. I appreciate all of the help that teachers, the people in the FRC, the high school students, and the community volunteers gave my son this year. I know that we are not alone.
Knowing they had the support of the entire McPherson neighborhood, Araceli and Juan knew the dreams they had for their son were well within reach.